Kuzazampo and welcome to another segment of Bhutan This Week. I'm Kezawangmo. Our top stories this week. His Majesty the King graces opening ceremony of the Parliament. Oral transmission of Kinkin Kabum ends at Kunsal Porang. And Parliament adopts Gilsum Bill. His Majesty the King has graced the opening ceremony of the 8th session of the 3rd Parliament. His Majesty also addressed the nation during the opening ceremony of the Parliament. His Majesty was accompanied by Her Majesty the Gilson and other members of the royal family.
His Majesty the King was received in traditional chipdrill ceremony by the Prime Minister, the National Assembly Speaker, the National Council Chairperson, the Opposition Leader and the members of the Parliament. On behalf of the parliamentarians, the Speaker of the National Assembly expressed gratitude to His Majesty the King for gracing the opening ceremony and addressing the Parliament. The Speaker thanked His Majesty the King for granting citizenship kidu to the families of the armed forces in August.
His Majesty the King has always worked towards asserting Bhutan's position in the international arena. Among all the activities, Bhutan started participating in the United Nations peacekeeping in 2014. This year too, at the request of the UN, Bhutan sent a contingent of 180 personnel from the Royal Bhutan Army. The opportunity is historic, and we would like to express our deepest gratitude to His Majesty the King.
The Speaker also thanked His Majesty for visiting Phuentsholing and Samsi to ensure the well-being of the people. He also offered gratitude to His Majesty the King, Her Majesty the Gelsun and His Royal Highness Gelse Jigme Namgyal for travelling to London to attend the funeral of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and for meeting the Prime Minister of India and reaffirming the commitment and friendship between the two countries. The Speaker also thanked His Holiness the Jui Khenpo for conducting the oral transmission of Kinkin Kabum and other religious prayers for the country. Meanwhile, the two houses will deliberate on a number of bills including the Civil Liability Bill, Civil Service Reform Bill and the Clean Wage Bill. Giledim for BBS News.
Bhutan's first UN peacekeeping contingent boarded a special Drukair flight to Central African Republic on Sunday. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Gilson graced the departure ceremony at Baro Airport. A guard of honor was presented at the ceremony.
Bhutan's contingent, which comprises 180 Royal Bhutan Army personnel, will be part of the United Nations multi-dimensional integrated stabilization mission for the Central African Republic. Game for BBS News.
During the ceremony, His Majesty the King granted the Drakpui Rinchen Tsuktor Medal to Thewang Chofel Doji in recognition of his services for Bhutan's participation in the United Nations peacekeeping force.
Sawangsi Doji worked to coordinate Bhutan's participation in the United Nations peacekeeping force since 2014, while he was working at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Topoi Rinchen Suktur is the Royal Bhutan Armed Forces' highest medal for distinguished services in peacetime.
Feeling very overwhelmed, an honor to have received this medal from His Majesty on the eve of the departure of our first peacekeeping contingent. Till date, we've sent over 242 officers, and their feedback was critical in putting together our first contingent. And it is not that the moment we have a unit in place that we can deploy them. They have to go under rigorous training. There are other requirements that the UN requires that the unit meet. But given that the Royal Bhutan Army is a professional force and army, we were able to meet all the requirements. In fact, earlier this year in January, the UN sent their assessment team, and our contingent did extremely well. And even the assessors from the UN were very surprised at the standard of training that our contingent had achieved. It is a proud moment for the nation, a proud moment for the armed forces in Bhutan. And personally, from my side, I feel a deep sense of satisfaction that His Majesty's vision.
The rear team of Bhutan's United Nations peacekeeping contingent was seen off in a ceremony at the Paro airport on Thursday. They boarded a special Drugair flight to the Central African Republic. As with the main contingent, His Majesty the King graced the ceremony.
As with the main contingent, Their Majesties graced the ceremony. The ceremony included the offering of marchang and guard of honor. The Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, Chief Operations Officer of the Royal Bhutan Army, IMTRAT Commandant and senior government officials also attended the ceremony. The team was seen off earlier at the Paro Shaba Commander Wing by the families and friends, with prayers offered at the Commander Wing Lakhang for a successful deployment. Meanwhile, the main contingent, which departed on November 6th, has reached safely in Bangui, the capital of Central African Republic, and commenced their duty. Bhutan's contingent is in the Central African Republic as part of MINUSCA, a UN peacekeeping mission to help and protect civilians in the country under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter. The contingent, which is a light quick reaction force, comprises 180 personnel. Sunampem for BBS News.
The month-long Kinkyun Kabum Jaglung prayer ceremony in Thimphu has come to an end. Thousands of devotees have been gathering at the Kunsal Phodrang every day to attend the prayers. As the prayer ceremony came to an end, a thokur was held, followed by 5-day Melam Chenmo. The National Assembly has unanimously adopted the Gilsung Bill of the Kingdom of Bhutan 2022. During the deliberations, a few members of the National Assembly raised concerns pertaining to the training's ineligibility criteria. The members claimed that the opportunity should be given equally to all, irrespective of criminal records.
Prior to the introduction of the bill, the National Assembly Speaker read out the Royal Kasho on the Gilsung Bill. The Gilsung Bill states that a child who is serving a sentence for a third-degree felony and above shall be ineligible. But a few members of the parliament stated that they too should get the training as it will help bring a positive change in their lives.
마셔라 야델리비 팜 얌요미기비 랄루나 주미 랄루 카미비기 팜 때다 랄루 팀 하마고이기 때다 팜 드주기 알루 드주 가라 때다 도담기 잡칼루 겔숭나 잡게 흡달루 지니기 고갑지 여바친 까르체세 슈닐라 민노니 유미게 지움베바 나진디 주라 정시 슈닐
Dr. Sonam Kinga, who is leading the National Service Core Working Group and who introduced the bill to the House, clarified the criteria will not impact a huge number of youth.
다 유법 미비기 네세 소들루 다 유법 미미야 할람 자타 동차베 텐리 미조가 노이기 투기 차기를 여봉 디시마치 있어라 피점집에 쇼아친라 다리기 장침기 찔레 템도 조치베 와친 남동 이동 캐칠레 다 캐진이기 버도 에림 숨바 폼이 비도니라멜라 에림 시바 아니야 니레 차드첸다 진작 네겔파 베올레 야르상비미 비도치라멜라.
The bill also talks about the offences and penalties related to registration of the training, the Gilsung training and the Gilsung duty. The Persam Shongpu Member of Parliament suggested reducing the grading for the offence of evading or deserting the training could be reduced to a misdemeanor from a fourth-degree felony.
The gadimjibe, the ngachigi, the timdi, the erim jibabe jabachin, the jongdar beni, dubigi mi se, ngagi chajuni se member, the gadimjibe majowachin, the timponi me se, the nebe, the nosamtanigi nengaya du seshini, the jemi gakabda, ngachi gakabdi midase juni ngagi bewachin, the najin garagi, the dizumbe,
However, Dr. Sonam Kinga said a lighter penalty may lead to disparity in the society since reducing the degree would make the offence compoundable, meaning those who can do so would pay fines instead of undergoing the training. However, after the deliberations and clarifications, the members agreed to all the clauses in the bill. The bill was passed after all the 45 members present in the House voted in favor of the bill. Kilidem for BBS News.
The Gilsung Bill has been passed to the National Council and will be deliberated tomorrow. The first batch of the Gilsung program is expected to commence in 2024 and the training will be a year-long one. Our next story brings you the details of the Gilsung program.
The Gilsung Bill is His Majesty's vision to institutionalize the Gilsung to empower all Bhutanese youth in the process of nation building. It is to further enhance the security, peace, unity, harmony and sovereignty of the nation.
야다탄이 뒤다 남바기도 카치니까 나진수비기로 치유를 전다 전타 나나 벨레 주비기 키쳐 상로서 된 증거입니다. 아니 친하게 요청수 팜다 베비수비 된 주비기로 결승 내림기에 자 치유베 펜토보베기 투기공가 나나 메버시티 수나미니 가르기 켄세 치우시.
As a one-time measure, the Governing Council will determine the eligibility criteria for the first batch of Gilsung cadets. However, a medically unfit person deemed by the medical board will be exempted from training. Dr. Sonam Kinga, while introducing the bill, said the Gilsung training program is a one-year integrated training program mandatory for all youth attaining the age of 18 or after completion of grade 12 if they are in school.
내림기 당과 내림아바 마찬가지 기합의 아마 순적으로 로그기 년수 캠피 삽삽 유류배 동네 베니게 됐다고 마주 시주세나 이러면서 수준이 니바 결승 종다가 대기슈네 결승 샤토야 셰미기 개합나서 마좀 장치다 마기 샤토 장치는 조 리젠더 주자 락실더 종다 쭉쭉더 제가 야자 타니기 레림 임비부로 슈레 샤토야 마셔와지 켈랑 샤토 시위기 샤토 슈미기 고가.
According to the bill, the Gyeongsung program will consist of Gyeongsung training, Gyeongsung duty, and Gyeongsung reserve. The Gyeongsung training will consist of basic military training, national education, and life skills training, specialized training, and any other training as may be determined by the governing council. A Gyeolsup has to render Gyeongsung duty till the age of 35, after which he or she will serve as Gyeongsung reservist until 45 years. After that, he or she may continue to serve as a desup. As per the bill, upon requirement, the Governing Council and the headquarters can call for mandatory duty and voluntary duty, respectively. As of now, there are 5 Gyeongsung training centers that are under construction. Gildim for BBS News.
The National Council has also adopted the Gyeongsung Bill of Bhutan 2022. Prior to the adoption of the bill, one of the members asked the steering committee about the plans to make the Gyeongsung program inclusive for youth with disabilities.
According to Chapter 4 of the Gyeongsung Bill, a person will have to undergo medical examination for the Gyeongsung training. If considered medically unfit by a medical board, he or she will be exempted from the training. On this, the National Council member from Gaza questioned the National Service Corps Working Group if youth with disabilities who are interested can also take part in the Gyeongsung program.
다니 개영 각기 꿰좀디 마차라 초인데 잠실로 터니 멤버라 두개 함나 주면 가로로 타고 대좀뱅 마차라기 엉코 낀진 미기 마통 깜빠 마속 다니솔로 고깝지 가데베 타서 니기 탈론지 가데베 디도가.
Responding to the query, the member of the National Service Corps Working Group, Jashusonam Kinga, said the Gyeongsung training is indeed an inclusive program. Explaining further, he said although youth who are medically unfit will be exempted from the training, the Gyeongsung office has plans to come up with an alternative customized program for them.
동렌디도 데 수캄루 왕포루 예디베르야 더 개합루 차슈니기 데 고갑가지야 슈고세로 통해 아소바친 데 양차디 예디베르야 데 종더디 다 마다우치 탑람 소치스 딕딕베 베니기 데 노사탄 땅아차 타야 데베치 데 데볼레텐 치멘 치베탑디 데디 데 조라 고갑소니 데 차슈수니기 사고소니 데 카체스.
The Gyeongsung Bill was adopted by all 24 members present during the deliberation today. The bill will now be submitted for royal assent. Samten Dolker, BBS News.
The stakeholders in the tourism sector are hoping that they will now be consulted for any policy matters as the Tourism Council of Bhutan becomes Tourism Department under the Economic Affairs Ministry. They said there was a lack of consultation while the TCB operated as an autonomous agency. The TCB was renamed and became Tourism Department earlier this week as part of the ongoing transformation.
The renaming of TCB on Tuesday was met with criticism, with some netizens commenting that a mere change in the name wouldn't bring about any changes. However, the immediate stakeholders of the tourism sector, including tour operators, hotels and restaurants, and guides, have bigger hopes and aspirations. They said, headed by a minister and a secretary, the department will become more accountable and engaging.
With a new change, we are hoping that the fund allocation for Department of Tourism would be much bigger than in the past, and also we are hoping that there would be genuinely more training and refresher courses given to the guides.
Of course, there was a focus in tourism activities. But now, with it being under the Ministry of Economic Affairs, we feel that there will be better synergies, better planning, and better implementation. We hope that whatever decisions are made, we are not kept in the dark, firstly, because I think A lot of challenges in the past has been lack of consultation and also lack of information sharing. So we feel if we are included in the decision-making process, firstly, people will be aware.
The Association of the Bhutanese Tour Operators in a written statement also said the new Department of Tourism will hopefully provide more accountability, efficiency and stakeholder consultation. Under TCB, APTO felt that there was a lack of regular stakeholder consultation. With the new reforms, we hope there will be more efficiency in service delivery and more quality standard implementation. The stakeholders said the TCB do not consult these stakeholders for any decision-making or change in policy matters. Some of them said they weren't consulted even during the latest transformation when the TCB became a department under the Economic Affairs Ministry. Some said they were consulted only in the later stages. Since its inception in 1971, the Tourism Department has changed its name several times and was placed under various ministries. It first started as Department of Tourism under the Finance Ministry, then became Bhutan Tourism Corporation under the then Ministry of Communication in 1983 and Tourism Authority in 1991. And in 1999, it was again renamed as Department of Tourism under the Ministry of Trade and Industry, which became the Tourism Council of Bhutan in 2008. Samtin Dolkar, BBS News.
Your travel experience on the national highways is expected to become better. Next time you're on the road, the chances of getting stuck in a roadblock will likely be less. This is because the Department of Roads will now be using drones to fetch data during disasters such as landslide, which is a major cause of roadblocks, especially during monsoon. To date, it has remained a challenge for the DOR officials to carry out assessment and report roadblocks on time.
This aerial shot of the national highway at Songkalum between Tongsa and Xiemgang was captured by a drone. The stretch of the highway is considered prone to landslide. Engineers from the Department of Roads offices in Muongar, Tongsa, Tashigang, Xiemgang and Thimphu captured the footage while learning how to fly a drone. The engineers learned how to gather data during disasters such as landslide by flying a drone. A mentor from Japan is training the engineers. He says this drone can fetch data and pictures by flying almost 8 kilometers horizontally and up to a height of 100 meters within a short period.
If landslide occur, we can't go near. But using drone, we can fly from distance, and we can know how big the landslide is, and we can know many information for landslide very safety.
Besides, the use of drone can reduce the time and dependence on manpower while gathering information such as slope risks assessment to begin construction of new roads.
During disasters such as landslides, we do not know what has happened on the other side of the road when there is no bypass. So it is difficult to decide the number of machines and people to be deployed at the site. Likewise, we update roadblock information on social media, but they are not really accurate. Hence, using drones, we will henceforth be able to provide realistic information to public.
Even in the case of bridges, we will be able to carry out routine maintenance easily. For instance, drones can easily reach and take pictures of parts that require maintenance, such as underneath the bridge, which is otherwise difficult manually.
The Department of Roads received 2 drones from JICA earlier this month. The department plans to train its engineers in all the regional offices. For Basa in Tongsa, Pupkim, PBS News.
And this is all we have for you this week. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.